Hi everyone, it's Darla at Scrap Happens here with Tuesday's tip. I created this card for a tutorial group that I belong to, and I also used it in my February classes. But I wanted to share it with you today because there were some tricky parts to it that I thought would make great tips for my Tuesday's tip videos. So I wanted to just show you a few things. First of all, I created it with the Pretty Perennials stamp set. I used the Mercury glass paper, and that is the first tip that I want to show you. So you can use the purple side or the silver side. I used the purple, and what I did to adhere it was I used glue dots. And I put the glue dots in strategic places. You hear me say that word a lot. Where it wouldn't show. So on thick silver places, that's where I put the glue dots. So it wouldn't show through, so they wouldn't show through to the other side. Get a couple more. Because if you put them in the clear spots, they're gonna show through. You can see that right here. I'm not gonna adhere it. So be sure, and when you use the Mercury glass paper, to put your glue dots in strategic places. One more, and I'm going to attach it to my pool party piece. I think up there will be good. Okay, now, so there's the tip on using your Mercury glass paper. Now, the next tip I want to share with you, and I shared this at my last class because I watched a video and I was super excited because it really works. It's in regards to the Stampin Seal. So we're all used to the old Tombow adhesive runners that you kind of turned like that to cut them off. With the Stampin Seal, you can't do that because when you do that, the glue comes off and it gets goopy into these little boxes. You can see here, I can pull some off because I didn't know about this trick until just recently. So the trick to using these is you have to get it started. So I pull it up and see this little goopy? That's because I did it wrong in the past. And the reason I have to get it started is because I was doing it wrong. So you're just gonna you're gonna put your adhesive on and you're gonna flick it. And look, it starts right back up. Flick. Run it. Flick. Run it. Flick. 4 times in a row, and I didn't have to restart it. Huge, huge game changer for this adhesive. I absolutely love it now. The Stampin Seal Plus is a lot easier to use, and I had stocked up on that because it has little lines in it where it cuts easier. But now the Stampin Seal is more affordable, and for cards I don't need that heavier adhesive. But now I need to go back and clean up all my holders. But total game changer on this adhesive. It worked every time I tried it. So that's where I'm at there. I'm going to put it on my card base. On my original, I put it on with dimensionals, but I'm putting it on the actual card base because I wanted to show you how to use the adhesive. Next. Oh, and actually I should have waited. So I'm going to lift this up gently. Actually, I can just lift it up on the side. So the next thing, I wanted to show you how I did the ribbon because the ribbon was a little confusing for folks. And I have little tricks on doing my ribbon so I don't have to use a bunch of it. And what I'm going to do is, here's my sentiment. I'm going to put a glue dot right where I want my sentiment to be. And normally I would do this before I attached it. And I have some of the pool party sheer ribbon, and I'm just going to put it right here on the end. And then I'm going to go down this hole. I pre-punched the holes. And I'm going to go up. This hole. Now before, I normally would stamp it ahead of time too, but I forgot. So I'm going to ink up my happy and stamp it right now. And hopefully it turns out because I don't have my pad underneath it. And it did perfectly. Okay, and then I'm going to get another glue dot. And I'm going to lift up this side over here. And remember, normally you would do this before you adhered it, but because I had already adhered it, okay. Then I have, whoops, excuse me, get these out of the way. I have some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm just going to put a couple on here. And I'm going to put it in the spot where I want it to be. And then here's the part that was a little confusing for folks. Oh, I didn't grab some paper snips. So I'm just going to use some regular scissors, sorry, that I have here. So what I did was I brought this side up to the hole, and the other side was already coming out of the hole. So that's where I want them to meet up. If you met them up over here, they wouldn't be long enough. Your tails wouldn't be long enough to tie your bow. So that's what I do. I thought I had some snips here. Well, I did not. Darn it. Okay, so I'm going to trim those tails. And then I have my linen thread. I love linen thread. Use it all the time. And I have 2 strands here. And I'm going to just wrap it under that bow. And tie it into its own bow. And there you have it. A fun little bow. So you got a tip on using your Mercury glass, a tip on using your Stampin' Seal, not steel, and a tip on creating your bows. That makes it really easier. The last I just have to add my happy by heat embossing it, my flowers, and some opal rounds. I also think it would look really pretty with the pearls, the colored pearls. Anyways, that's all I have for you to do today. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope these tips will help you in your future creating projects. If you like what you saw, please hit subscribe so you don't miss another video. I'll have more inspiration on my blog at scraphappensherewithdarla.com. So stop by there. Follow me on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram. I love sharing what I do, and I'd love to share it more with you. Thank you so much. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week with Tuesday's tip.